next question says, I had forgotten about Mike altogether. Why won't he just leave this woman alone? He blew it. Why can't some people understand once it's broken, you can't fix it? Oh, Mike knows that, but have y'all seen Malia in your mind's eye? She is gorgeous, all right? Like, she is the most amazing thing like you've ever seen. The relationship, I mean, they never had a fight in their relationship. There was no reason for the breakup besides him wanting to be greedy. I mean, honestly, she's the best thing that ever happened to him. And now it's been all these years. She still looks amazing. Who knows if, his wife has let herself go or things aren't, what he thought it was going to be, and he's reminiscing on all these wonderful times that him and Malia had. And then she's freaking drop dead gorgeous. She probably smells like, oh, I mean, I can imagine, just brown sugar and honey dripping. I mean, just whatever your ideal woman or man is out there, just imagine this goddess, stepping on the scene and it's just like, oh my God, how could I let this go? So he has to try everything in his power. No matter how many no's that he's going to receive, he's going to keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying because, I mean, gosh, we see what Chan's doing. We see how Chris is acting. Who else? All these men, they're just so caught up in her. She just has this air about her that, just makes men just fall over, so, I don't blame him. The woman is a baddie, so, yeah, I honestly wouldn't expect anything less, he threw away something amazing. With regret, it's hard for you to let it go, and especially you're not encountering better, out here in this pool. So, we see this. We see this a lot, so that's why.
Yeah, I agree with Kyrie. I just think that sometimes a good thing, it's easy to pass up on it. I was watching Cat Williams a couple days ago, and they had asked him a question like, "Do you like toxic women?" He was like, "I love toxic women." And I was not expecting him to say that, and he was like, "Because they're exciting." And so Malia has just been very unproblematic as a person. She tries to do what she knows is right, and kind of is a people pleaser in a lot of ways. And when you're a people pleaser, that can be boring after a while. Even though, you have those people who are, I want this in a woman, and they can get all that. And it's like, don't you want to fight a little bit? Like, don't you want to scream and don't you want to tear up my house? Like, no, I don't want to tear up my house. No, I don't want to scream and fight. Like, who wants that? Some people enjoy those types of things. And so, as beautiful as Malia is, I think that Mike looked at her and thought, hey, Bianca's a baddie. Her family has way more to offer me in terms of opening up doors for me quicker because of where they're already at their standing. This makes better sense. And then he gets off into the Ortega world and realizes, oh, okay, so the fast track that I was on in Rose City, that was maybe going to take me a little longer to get to where I wanted to go, but I was still ultimately on the fast track. Now he's been put on the back burner. Now the whole thing is starting to look good again. 5 years later, you're like, oh, she was a sweet girl. She was like very supportive of me. She was all these things, and people blew it. Oh, well, people blow it, and then they want to fix it. And for some, they're allowed that opportunity to fix it. However, if you've ever been a person in my life, once the opportunity in that door is closed, there is no going back. I don't believe it. I believe if you let a person back, they're just going to hurt you again. Like, some people are like, that's a horrible way of looking at it. No, it's not. It's just realistic. If you threw me away 5 years ago because I wasn't good enough for you, what's to say that you're not going to throw me away 6 months, down the road? Like, you're not going to get a chance to play me again. I learned my lesson. I woke up. I think the most powerful lesson you can send to a person who's done you dirty is just utter total silence. Cut them off. What's the point? What is the point of continuing on with this? People don't learn from you talking to him. And that's sad. Like, I used to always have this philosophy that I thought, if you, me and Carrie both had talked about this, like, you think if you articulate yourself, if you tell people how they feel, what you want to see going forward, and allow the opportunity to reflect how they what they want to see change, that there could be real change. But then I realized, like, people lie. People say what sounds good, and then they do what they want to do. So, me and my son were having a conversation a couple of days ago, and I told him, I said, I noticed something that you do. I said, you will agree to do whatever I tell you to do. And you're like, oh yeah, that sounds great. I said, and then when we get to the moment where I need you to do something, you start backtracking, or you start trying to figure out how we could renegotiate this deal. And he's from one of his teachers. You're in negotiations, agree all terms. And then as the negotiation, after you're done with the negotiation process and you're actually sealing the deal, then renege. Do whatever you want to do at that point, because now you got the person locked in. And he was like, that was a really good piece of advice. I said, it might be a good piece of advice, I guess, if you're thinking about in terms of business, you want to do somebody dirty. I said, but that ain't what you're doing with your mama. And I'm Black. We're not doing that. You can't do that to a Black mother. We're not going to do it. But I had told him, I said, I see you do that. And so a lot of times people do that in relationships. And I think Mike lost a good person. He realizes, wow, like, Malia was something special, but I you kind of, I don't want nobody from this little place. I don't want nobody from Portland. I want nobody. I want somebody, you know what I'm saying, from a different location. How many times do you hear that? People be like, I don't want to date nobody from Tacoma. This is small potatoes. Like, we hear that, right? But sometimes you go back and you realize, like, that's exactly what I needed. Sometimes because of, like, your own overinflated ego, you can want more for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with wanting more for yourself, but you start to look down on people around you. They're not grand enough for me. They're not big enough for me. This is not great enough for me. And you start to realize those are the people who you needed, because they were going to be your backbone when you couldn't stand up for yourself. They were going to be there. They'll keep holding you up. They won't be like moving so fast with stuff that you don't have an opportunity to reflect on. Is this good for me or is it good for you? You know what I mean? So yeah, Mike is hurt. He wants to fix it. He's smart enough to fix it, but I feel like he is no longer interested. So that's that.
And you know what's so annoying? You've gone through a relationship with somebody, and you're communicating how they're hurting you and what they're doing wrong, and the things that you guys need to work on, and they refuse to do those things, or they act like they're going to do it, and then you guys keep hitting the same place like again and again and again, and it's like, bro, you're hurting me. Like, stop doing this. If you expect us to be in this relationship long haul, stop doing this. Please stop doing this. You beg this person, please stop hurting me. They see you crying. They see you, in bed. You're getting depressed. You're, overwhelmed with all these emotions because of what they're doing is hurting you. And they're still making the choice to do it. And then when you decide to leave, now you want to pull out all the stops and change now? After I done packed my bags and I'm leaving, now you want to beg me? Now you want to say you want to stay by me? Because you never thought I was going to leave,
That's what right there.
Yeah. And, I that junk right there would just tick me off to high heaven. Like, now you're willing to do all the stuff I've been begging you to do for years. Nah, no, you're not. You're just trying to get me to stay here. Just like you said, they're lies. Yeah. You're just trying to get me to come back in, hold myself back up, get on this roller coaster ride another round, but it's not true. It's not true. So if y'all out there going through that, don't fall for it. Pack them bags, girl.
Don't do it.
Pack them bags.
Because if somebody really loves you, no, they're not going to. And if somebody really, really loves you, they're not going to keep making you beg for it. I was reading something last week, and they said if I have to ask you more than twice to do something, it's because you won't do it. It's because not that you can't remember to do it, you never intended to do it in the first place. If I have to beg you to be nice to me, if I beg you to show me love, if I have to beg you to show me kindness, you have to accept who people are. See, I'm in a new phase, in a new era in my life. I'm accepting people for who they are. I'm no longer being like, well, I think that you could be a better human being. No, I think you're being exactly the human being that you want to be. And I respect your choice to be, what I'm saying? I'm trying not to cuss, but I respect your choice to be nothing. Okay? I respect that. But I respect myself enough to say that's not going to work. you know? So whether it's family, relationship, friends, whatever the hell it may be, your biggest flex is to move on and take care of you and make sure you're good. Because people will string you along. Mike, as no, you know, he wants to come back now, but again, I don't have confidence that Mike has changed. And you know why I don't have confidence that Mike has changed? I might have forgotten about the first few chapters that we had when he was at the club and he's professing his love for Malia and how disrespectful he was really being, even though he was acting like he was pouring himself out there. He was really taking shots and jabs at her. And then later on at the club, you know, Cece chicks backing it up on him. You know, he's buying the bar, baby. He's got all the girls around, right? But that's not indicative of a person who's truly sorry. Because if I'm trying to tell you, oh, I know I messed up with you, or whoever that is, I want to less. If you on the other side of the bar, honey, you in here playing in somebody's beard. You know what I'm saying? You in here messing with somebody's dreads. You in here putting your finger to somebody's cornrows. You in here like helping them, you know what I'm saying? Fix them waves, right? What's Richard gonna think? He gonna be like, you was just in my face telling me that you wanted me. Now I see you over there entertaining 3 different dudes. You rubbing faces and you stop it. He like, she don't want me. She said that, but that's not what she really, really wanted. You know what I mean? So for Malia to turn around and see people backing it up on him and throwing that thing on him and doing the most, and he's slapping booty, and she's like, yeah, you're not really serious about Malia. Sir, move on. I'm saying people are not wasting their time. Just move on. You know what I'm saying? You've done your damage.
I was just going to add, like, yes, stop staying in these toxic relationships with people that have shown you their true colors, who they are, and you're staying with them for potential. Oh, you see something past what they've ever shown you, but you see them for more than what they are. And it's like, no, stop. That's you. That's not them. That's you. You hoping and wishing. And stop it.
Also, I'm going to tell you, one thing I admire about men don't waste time. You know what I'm saying? If they see this is not going to work with a woman and they're trying to build something authentic, they'll move on quickly. It's women were like, no, I was praying to Jesus and that he's going to change and he's going to love me. You can't pray God's will upon somebody else's will because God's given us respect. About men. You see that the potential is not there for something solid. They don't even think nothing. Okay, it didn't work. You know, women will be trying to put a puzzle together. We're gonna make this fit. You're gonna be brokenhearted, and that's what's gonna end up happening. Just go learn to let people who need to be left behind.
Trying to build a man, build a bay,
honey. Honey. Like, if we think about like the Build-A-Bear at the malls, and I don't even think they have those anymore. I don't know. I don't go to the mall, but those little bears would be super expensive. I remember in the early 2000s, lately, the bear was like $50, and I think last time if they paid $100 for a bear, I'm like, can we just order some accessories on
it? You want to know a funny story about that Build-A-Bear?
Yeah, give it to me. I want to hear it.
You know, those things were really expensive, like you were saying. So, of course, my mom would never pay for them. I always wanted one, but my mom would never take us to get one. And so when I came out here and, you know, I met D in person for the first time, he had got me one of those. He had went to the little Build-A-Bear thing and he put the thing, the whole little thing. I have to show you one day. She's up in the closet, but it was a cute little thing. And then, you know, I have memory issues because of my past trauma, and he named it Dory. He bought the whole little certificate for it with the name, and he named it Dory. I thought that was so funny because I'd be forgetting everything. So that made me think about that.
You remember Cabbage Patch Dolls? Did you have one? So I remember Cabbage Patch Dolls had made a comeback in the 90s, My sister had some from like the 80s, and it was like they were pretty cool, whatever. But I had an opportunity to have my own Cabbage Patch doll, and I got one for Christmas. And my brother, God's gonna do something for him in his life. Anyway, he was like, "Let me fill out the birth certificate for you," because I was like 7 to 8 years old, and there was this little boy that I could not stand. I just couldn't stand him, and he went out of his way to harass me. And I mean, even if Alicia was here, she'd be like, "Yeah, I tried to make Karina's life a living hell," and everybody's like, "Because he likes you," and I'm like, "You don't treat people this way because you like them, like you just don't do that." So anyway, he treated me terrible, and I hated him as a child. Um, my brother filled out the paperwork for me for the birth certificate. I had picked out the name for my child and everything, and baby, do you know he put that boy's first and last name on the birth certificate as the baby's dad? I died. I screamed. I cried. I was so hurt. I was like, no. Because the thing was, I tried to have my mom fill out. I mean, I was like 7 or 8 years old, so I knew my spelling wasn't going to be great. So to have my mom fill it out, I wasn't going to ask my dad because he didn't have no time for that type of stuff. And but I asked my mom, and she was like, "I'm tired." And my brother's like, "I'll help out." But every time he ever said he would help out, he would always like cause destruction and damage. So I should have put two and two together that was a spawn of Satan. He put the name down, and he was like, "Now y'all got a baby. You had his baby." And I just remember, like, I was so hurt. I cried because in my mind, I thought he literally got me pregnant. And I was like, "No, and I'm not." I don't, like, I was little kids. I didn't really understand how that was supposed to work, but he put him down as a child's father, and I was hurt. I was hurt. I was angry. I was sad. And I just didn't know why anybody would try to terrorize somebody's spirit. So when you said that he got the whole, like, the name on it and all that, girl, he gave the baby his last name and everything. She was going to be a Scott, okay? She was going to be a Scott, and the father was going to be listed as unknown. We don't know who the dad is. We don't know him. We don't know. A child down under the boy who terrorized me growing up as a kid in my neighborhood. And then he went and told him. He was like, "Oh, Karina had her Cabbage Patch doll's birth certificate, whatever. We sent it off, and we put you down as a child's father." And he was like, "Oh, that's great." And he was like, "We have a baby together." So the boy would be like, "I mean, you're gonna be mine anyway. I told you you're mine, and we have a baby together." He's like, "Where's my daughter at?" I'm telling you, I was tormented. I was tormented. So your story made me think about that.